This is Mikey Fresh from Otaku American. You are now tuned into Mind on Matters.
Let's face it, we've all had brain glitches. You walk into a room filled with vigor, ready to get that thing done, and then you suddenly freeze, and you ask yourself out loud, what the hell did I come in here for? Or maybe you've been curious about something that you wanted to research further. You open up your browser, 10 seconds later, and you forgot what you was about to Google. Or perhaps you've been in a situation where you was in the middle of making a point that would have sealed the argument for you, but you forgot what point you was trying to make in the first place. The brain is a complex puzzle. We humans have approximately 86 billion neurons in our brain, woven together by an estimated 100 trillion connections, or synapses. It's a daunting task to understand the details of how those cells work, let alone how they come together to make up our sensory systems, our behavior, and our consciousness. No surprise we have the occasional brain fart, glitch, tweak, or dumb out moment. Today's episode, I'd like to take a quick look at some brain spasms we humans deal with, ranging from the fairly common to the downright bizarre. First up, brain shakes. Brain shakes are sensations that sometimes people feel when they stop taking certain types of medication, especially antidepressants. You might also hear them referred to as brain zaps, brain shocks, brain flips, or brain shivers. They're often described as feeling like brief electric jolts to the head that sometimes radiate to other parts of the body. Others describe it as feeling like the brain is briefly shivering. Brain shakes can happen repeatedly throughout the day and even wake you up out of your sleep. While they're not painful, they can be very uncomfortable and frustrating. Brain shakes are a bit of a mystery, though. No one's sure exactly why they happen, but they're usually reported by people who have recently stopped taking selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or SSRIs, which is a common antidepressant. Common SSRIs are Zoloft, Lexapro, and Prozac. SSRIs increase the amount of serotonin that's available in the brain. This leads some experts to theorize that low serotonin levels caused by discontinuing the use of SSRIs are to blame for the brain shakes. But people also have reported feeling brain zaps after discontinuing the use of other medications like Xanax and Adderall. And some people also get brain shakes after using ecstasy. So, stop popping the pills. Or how about blindsightedness? Blind sight is defined by Oxford Concise Dictionary as a condition which the sufferer responds to visual stimuli without consciously perceiving them. In other words, patients suffering from this strange form of visual impairment both can and can't see simultaneously. Certain stimuli might make a blindsided person react, even though they themselves would claim that they're not seeing anything at all. Imagine, for example, if you throw a ball to a blindsided person. They might react perfectly and catch the ball, but then they tell you, I didn't see the ball at all, but I just caught it. An experiment in the Scientific American showed that individuals with blind sight react to emotional and facial cues shown in pictures that they themselves cannot consciously perceive. In other words, their brain was processing and seeing the emotions on the faces they were presented with, even through their blindness. Here's one that you might be familiar with, or actually endured yourself. Sleep paralysis. While we sleep, the brain relaxes our bodies to the point of paralysis so that we don't move around too much and potentially injure ourselves. Fortunately, most of us are in a state of deep sleep when this happens. Sometimes, though, individuals may find themselves in a state between conscious wakefulness and deep sleep, a state where the body is paralyzed but the mind is alert and awake. This is called sleep paralysis, and apparently it can be pretty terrifying. And speaking from experience, it is very terrifying. The first time I had sleep paralysis, I was still living with my father. I had this sensation to get up to use the bathroom. I woke up and I remember staring at the ceiling and I was like, all right, time to go do what you're supposed to do. And my damn limbs wouldn't work. So I'm like, all right, cool. Well, maybe I'm just really sleepy. Let me try to move again. Nope. Still not moving. And I started to panic like hell, y'all. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't able to actually move anything until I relaxed. So maybe if you've ever had to deal with sleep paralysis, this may be something that you're definitely familiar with. I don't know why it happens, but I hope it never happens to me again. Be quite honest with you. In this state, the individual is trapped in their own bed, trapped in their own bodies. To make things even creepier, the mind might begin to conjure vivid, lifelike hallucinations, which often take the form of malevolent beings. Maybe this phenomenon can explain the experience of alien abductions or other paranormal phenomena. But wait, the brain gets weirder. Have you ever looked down at your hand and it looked like it was the size of your leg? Or have you ever looked at a car and it looked like it was the size of an ant? Alice in Wonderland syndrome. Alice in Wonderland syndrome is a rare condition that causes temporary episodes of distorted perception and disorientation. You may feel larger or smaller than you actually are. You may also find that the room you're in or the surrounding furniture seems to shift and feel further away or closer than it really is. These episodes aren't the result of a problem with your eyes or hallucination. They're caused by changes in how your brain perceives the environment you're in and how your body looks. This syndrome can affect multiple senses, including vision, touch, and hearing. You may also lose the sense of time. Time may seem like it's passing faster or slower than you think. Alice in Wonderland syndrome primarily affects children and young adults. Most people grow out of this disordered perception as they age, but it's still possible to experience this in adulthood. I think I experienced this at work sometimes. You ever be at work and it's like, 45 minutes before it's time for you to leave, and you thinking you checking back in about 20 minutes, but maybe, 45 seconds pass? Yeah, I might have a little Alice in Wonderland syndrome when it comes to getting the hell up out of my job. My favorite. Deja vu. Deja vu describes the uncanny sensation that you've already experienced something, even though you know you haven't. I can remember times being locked in a conversation with somebody and I'm kind of like, I felt like I've had this conversation before with you. You were wearing that shirt. Yeah, you did pick up your cup and then sip your coffee just like that. And then I did something with my hands, like put them in my pocket or something like that. And everything just feels familiar, like it's happened before, but you know it hasn't happened. So it brings up all these other questions like, what the hell is going on? Have we had this conversation before in a previous life or something like that? People have experienced deja vu when seeing random strangers, feeling like I know you from somewhere, even though you haven't. You might feel a little disoriented when that happens and wonder what's going on, especially if you're experiencing deja vu for the first time. There's no conclusive evidence on why deja vu actually happens, but varying estimates suggest that anywhere between 60 to 80% of the population experience this phenomenon. One theory about deja vu is the theory of split perception. This theory of split perception suggests that deja vu happens when you see something two different times. The first time you see something, you might take it in out the corner of your eye while distracted. The brain can begin forming a memory of what you see, even with the limited amount of information you get in that brief, incomplete glance. You might also take in more information than you realize. If your first view of something, like the view from a hillside, didn't involve your complete attention, you might believe you're seeing it for the first time. But your brain recalls the previous perception, even if you didn't have total awareness of what you were observing. So you experience deja vu. In other words, since you didn't give the experience your full attention the first time, it entered your perception. It feels like two different events is happening, but it's really just one continued perception of the same event. Now, y'all heard me say it on the show before. I am not a scientist, but I do believe somewhat in the paranormal. I won't go as far as some people, but I do believe in previous lives. I find it hard to believe that you only get one life. That's just me. I distinctly remember when I think back of my first memory. Like, I don't know, maybe you guys as listeners can remember your first memory ever. My first memory ever was a bird's eye view of me. And then it kind of just went down almost like a camera panning down towards me. And then eventually it had got to me. And then all of a sudden it felt like, bam, I got consciousness. And then I went to go play on like a swing set in daycare or something like that. I believe I was like 4 or 5 years old. So I kind of felt like, I always felt like there was some kind of transference. Like I was entering my body for the first time after leaving something else, not knowing what it was. I'm very in tune with the energy that's around me. Anybody who knows me personally know I'm always talking about energy, good and bad. I kind of feel people's auras and sometimes can see them, but deja vu is one that always perplexes me, because when I'm in it, when I'm in the situation where I feel the deja vu, I'm like totally freaking out. Unlike maybe like most people, like, that's just deja vu, whatever. I'm kind of like, where the hell have we had this conversation before? I need to know. So it kind of trips me out, and it kind of leads me to believe, based on what the situation that's occurring while you're having deja vu, like whether or not it leads some credence to maybe a previous life, maybe a higher state of consciousness that we aren't quite tapped into yet. I kind of feel like you could be so involved in a deep conversation with another deep person, and then you get that deja vu, and you kind of like, I felt like we had this conversation before, and then maybe we actually haven't had it in a previous life, but maybe we had it somewhat subconsciously between each other already, and then now we're just kind of formulating it into words, and you kind of know what I'm saying, I know what you're saying, and we just bouncing ideas off each other. I've been in that situation a few times, but it is all creepy to me when it's all said and done anyway. But creepy in a way that it's intriguing, though. I want to know more about it. I want to know if it's just like a brain glitch or something like that. But deja vu is funny. If you ever saw the movie The Matrix, I know they kind of alluded to it. There was a scene in the movie where Neo and the rest of the crew had jacked into the Matrix for like one of his first times, and he saw a cat go by twice, and the cat kind of like glitched out or whatever like that. And he had mentioned that word like deja vu, and the way the movie went, it was like, oh, deja vu in the Matrix world is like a sign of danger. That means something is afoot right now. So I don't know, man. Maybe y'all know more than me, but when I'm having them cases of deja vu, which is not too common, but I remember at one point in my life I was having it fairly commonly. Yeah, that's a trip. That and sleep paralysis, I could definitely attest to. To me, if I wake up in the middle of the night, I hope it's just to go to the bathroom, because the other alternatives is you're gonna have sleep paralysis, it's something crawling around in your bed, or you about to get a Charlie horse. And none of the three, outside of going to the bathroom, is something I'm down with. All right, we all know how painful Charlie horses can be in the middle of the night. And when you wake up and you don't know why you up, yeah, that's a big deal. I ain't with all that. But that's a quick episode. Told y'all that we was gonna do these quick episodes in between the long ones. I'm calling it the lamb yap. I don't know if you're familiar with Louisiana culture, but the lamb yap is like a little bit of extra in between, or before, or after. Just to give you a little taste in between episodes of the heavy stuff. This is like a little fun thing. You get what I mean? So that'll conclude today's episode. I got an interesting email the other day from Apple Podcasts that said that they are going to start trying out to have podcast subscription services, meaning that you as a subscriber can pay a monthly fee or a yearly fee to your favorite podcaster, and they will, in turn, put the details of what you'll get with that money. Maybe you get early access to certain episodes. Maybe you get access to some content that they haven't put on the episode, things of that nature. I'm just mentioning this because I just want to say, forever and always, Mondo Matters will be free to listen to. You will never, ever have to pay a single penny to listen to my show. And whatever content I got for you is content that I give to everybody, and it'll be free of charge. So if you're enjoying the show, rest easy, rest your head, and enjoy your glass of wine or your weed while you listen to me, and know that you'll never have to pay for this, because it's about to be something crazy going on out there. I can already tell. The vultures is lurking. They just ready to take advantage of your wallet. So, J Optics, Mondo Matters, we stand firm on that we are not charging any money at all. But I hope everybody's healthy. I hope everybody's happy. And if you are happy and you all got good energy, I hope you spreading that out as much as you can, because that's important. The world can use it right now. And I'll see y'all next week. I got a little surprise, 2 surprise episodes coming up. It might be a little something that y'all not used to, but hey, that's why you're rocking with your boy in the first place, right? Mondo Matters. I'll see y'all. Ubuntu.